How goes it, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Emmett, and as always, please do your own research. I'm only one talking head amongst a sea of them, and I'm looking at things from a 30,000 foot view. Thank you. Merriam-Webster defines stagnant as a noun, a state or condition marked by a lack of flow, movement, or development. To cover my bases a bit, Merriam-Webster also defines hesitate as a verb, to hold back in doubt or indecision. So, my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been in that state to where you're always bored? You've done really nothing. Your productivity is low. Ladies and gentlemen, I too have been stagnating, and I've been doing it for a while, and it sucks. It really does, because I feel like I'm not really growing as a person or a creator at all. If anything, I feel like I've been regressing, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to go back. If anything, we should want to progress to be better, if not better, then bigger than what we were yesterday. In some cases, just to be happy with oneself. The human brain is something that needs stimulation, and it survives off of learning, good or bad. And hopefully, most of you listening have genuinely good intentions and reason and a plan to action them rather than just preach them. The human mind to this day is something that is still being studied extensively, biologically and spiritually, as to come to a deeper and well understood meaning of what makes us the very thing that is you, the individual. While that research is being done, there have been other avenues over time that clue others into what you are about, in a sense. That being the general category of art, but specifically self-expression. While still nebulous in some definition to itself, allow me to explain it within terms of what I am, or at least what I consider myself to be. I, on the outside, am a guy that blends in. My head is shaved, my shirt is plain, my jeans blue, and my shit kickers well used. I'm a person who believes in self-expression, however, not so much in what you place onto yourself, like one would do for a fancy haircut.
Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut!
Or jewelry, or fancy clothes. To me, what you wear means nothing. I care much more about what you can produce as an individual. Creative works have always captivated me as an individual. And unfortunately, while I cannot spout off inspirations because admittedly I'm horrible when it comes to names, I know what I like to see, and I like to see creative processes in action. Even further specifically when it comes to it, I'm talking about animation, modeling, and just generally cartoons. I personally have always enjoyed these things from the early 90s when Kablam, Oh Yeah Cartoons, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Rugrats, The Angry Beavers, Celebrity Deathmatch, I could go on, but I digress. This is where my interest in self-expression lies, and while I do have the ideas to carry on with them, what I lack is the motivation. Even as I get older and I find myself surprisingly with enough time to do so, I still hesitate to do so, and as a result, I stagnate. And any ideas or motivation that I have slowly just fly away into the wind and are just lost in the ether. And I know for a damn fact I'm not the only person on this planet who feels that way or who has felt that way. And I want to try to offer this as a lesson, if not a warning for people coming up, that they should not in any form compromise their creativity. Being creative is calming. It is, in some senses, it releases demons that you may not even know that you have. For example, is this a one-time thing? Is this something that I need to deal with for the rest of my life? Does she feel the same way? I could have done this, that, or the third and gotten this just plotted out in the past. All these are conversations that one needs to have with oneself, in my opinion, to be at peace with really yourself and just be happy. But this can't come out until you have a healthy way of dragging it out. I understand for a lot of people these conversations are uncomfortable, even if it is just a one-person conversation or just a self-conversation. They're uncomfortable, but they need to be had. You can't brush them off to the side and just not acknowledge them, because that's how you make unhealthy decisions, and you make really just rash decisions that you normally know that you shouldn't be making. Simply put, the more you try to do things creatively that makes you happy or gets you to be at some level of peace, the better of a person you can be. Back to wrapping up my case, I have again been stagnant. I've been hesitating, and as a result, I feel like I'm not happy, nor am I being the best me that I can be. Don't be like me. Be in tune with yourself. Make time for yourself. Make time for your creative hobbies. And don't get me wrong, as much as I'd love to give you all watching or listening a guide on how to achieve X, Y, or Z, that's not my role here. Neither is it really my specialty. That is your own battle to fight as an individual, because everybody's different. It may take a minute, but eventually everyone will be where they need to be. Just have fun on the journey there. If anything, what I can do is tell you something vital that we as people legitimately hate to hear. You are going to fail, and that's okay. This ultimately shouldn't be controversial, nor should it really be hated. I understand why it might, because we as the regular Jane or Joe Schmo are predisposed to initially think of the end result and whether it will pass or fail. And for the most part, if it was a fail, we wrap it up in a junk box, throw it in the garbage, and never try again. That's not the right answer. There, believe it or not, are very few people who will autopsy the failure and see what went wrong, where, and adjust for the next project. This is the correct answer. And I too understand that feeling of messing up something simple that led to catastrophic results. Shit happens. It's not about the failure. Don't focus on that. Focus on what led to the failure. Fix that step and rotate to the next project. It's daunting, it's tiring, and you might sometimes not be able to pin down the vector of which it failed. That's fine. Keep practicing, because it may be something that will make itself more apparent once you fix the other 6 to 12 problems that you might have had in the process. You learn by failing. You improve by failing. And at time of writing, I've ran into one more factor, and it's what is potentially the biggest issue to prevent people from self-expression, creativity, leading to hesitation, and thus stagnation. And it's something very simple. It's fear. Fear has single-handedly stopped more people from achieving their goals than anything else. For examples of, what if I'm not good enough? This is too far out of place. This is in no way comparable to insert famous art here, etc. And begrudgingly, I'll fully admit to you all, I'm afraid to put this out. From writing the script to doing whatever it is in the background, music selection, editing, voicing the script, and finally posting it for the world, even maybe a few people to see. I'm afraid of the judgment. However, in order to improve as a person, you need to face that fear. You need to rip the Band-Aid off, and you need to find your spine and just get it done. It's going to suck. The initial parts of it are going to suck. I will not lie to you. But it's all about just digging deep and not wanting to stay still, be stagnant. You will get over your hesitation if you find your spine. Now, with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please, to others and to myself, don't stagnate, hesitate, or be afraid. Go make shit. Go learn things. Become a better person than what you were yesterday. As a bonus, there is a speech that I wanted to try to fit in here. However, I could not comfortably get that done. I will instead add it to the end, and it is a speech by Charlatan Wonder and his take on creativity versus content. Something that I feel would definitely play a role for a lot of people who decide to take their creativity to the next level, to a point to where they could possibly make some kind of profit off it, or whether they're just doing it for pure fun. Please sit down, have a listen. Y'all stay safe and have a good one.
Remember that no matter what you do, be it making music with guitars or spoons on a bucket, painting portraits or painting decals onto your car, or whatever it might be that you do, what you do is not content. It's art. Content is a word that has been twisted to mean a way to grind up all the skills, passions, and ideas that you have gathered through the course of your life and grind them up into a gray slurry meant for mindless consumption by an uncaring mob, all for the benefit of some boardroom that will never know your name. Content is anathema to all artistic pursuits, and you are not deserving of being belittled down to content. Remember that your art is a reflection of you by the very nature of its creation, and you are worth fighting for. You are not content. So fight for your art by fighting against the contentification of, well, everything these days. Stay saucy, everyone.